Whether you're coming from a boat or a stand, welcome back to the lodge with your hosts, Matthew Dredska.
Wait, no, that's not what I meant. No, come on, no. Dang.
Patrick Mudge.
I really don't know what to say that's funny because I'm not a very funny person.
True.
And Nick Conder.
There's a difference between picking and itching.
Don't tell me they're gone. I won't have nothing left. Don't tell me you're strong and you got no regrets. If thinking about us, thinking about then, thinking about how it could have been, don't cross your mind. So if you're doing fine, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Back to the Lodge is brought to you by Icey-Tek USA.
Hey, let's just be honest. No one can ever completely beat a mature whitetail census. But if you play your cards right, you can fool him. Now, for all the work you put in to get him this close, make sure the camo you choose is up to the task. Mossy Oak, made for moments like this.
Icey-Tek now has tumblers and apparel. Check out Icey-Tek.com or visit the Hardware House in Huntingdon, Bennett's Hardware of McKenzie, or Rev Power Sports in Jackson to find all your Icey-Tek coolers and accessories. Icey-Tek, the classic roto-molded cooler that started an entire industry. 100% veteran owned and operated. Icey-Tek USA.
Get up.
This moment was brought to you by Higdon Outdoors, a leader in the waterfowl industry for over 25 years. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Higdon Outdoors has been helping waterfowl hunters make the most of their time in the field for over 25 years. We are a family-owned company, and we're proud to serve duck and goose hunters just like you. We make high-quality, innovative decoys and hunting products that you can afford, helping you focus on what's really important. Check us out at HigdonOutdoors.com. Innovation, quality, customer service. That's Higdon Outdoors. Get real. Get Higdon.
Live 6 o'clock hour from West Tennessee. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Nick.
And welcome back to the Lodge. Tonight's going to be a special edition episode. As you can see, Matthew is not with us this evening. As we have had a very long day up at Reelfoot Lake here in Tennessee. If you're not familiar, we've been with the friends and the outdoorsmen, our friends, up at Reelfoot Lake today. If you're not aware, a horrible tragedy took place on Monday morning up at Reelfoot Lake, resulting in the death of 2 young men in our hunting group. This hit kind of close to home, especially for Matt. Matt's been hunting with these guys for many years. But as you know, and Nick, we talked about on the show not too long ago, Matt and I were just there, not this last weekend, but the weekend before. Mm-hmm. So about 10 days ago, hunting up there with Chase and Jeff. So, in that blind, unfortunately, there was, we'll go ahead and call it a homicide because that's what it was. And Chance and Zach were both shot and killed on Monday morning on Reelfoot Lake. So that being said, we got the call yesterday evening that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation had released the blind as a crime scene and issued the arrest warrant for Mr. Vowell. And in respect to those that hunt that blind on a daily basis, we volunteered to clean out the blind for them. And then some of them made the decision that it was something they felt they needed to do, and we were there to support them and help take everything out and unload it. and it was truly a remarkable turnout this morning, Nick. We had, when I pulled in, there was, I want to say 8 boats. I mean,
Really?
8 boats, maybe 40 people plus.
Wow.
That all showed up from the outdoor community, friends, family, to make this, as painless as possible on the group. So, there was one survivor from the incident. I spent the afternoon with him, and he's tore up real bad. We're going to get into that this evening, but we definitely wanted to do this live out of respect to our outdoor community and friends, and in respect to the survivor, to clear up a lot of the, we'll call it the rumor mill, the Facebook reporters that are out there.
Sure.
I heard. So we're going to get into that. But this will be a special episode tonight on Back to the Lodge. If you're watching us on Facebook, go ahead and there's 3 little buttons in the top right corner, or you can click Get Notifications to follow us on Facebook to get the notifications for the show, and you can give us a follow on Instagram at Back to the Lodge on Instagram, so you can check us out there. But tonight, what we're going to focus on is a few things that's so important. So important. It's been real challenging to come up with the words to represent and respect everyone involved in such a horrible, horrible tragedy. And like I said, just last week, Matt and I were with Chase and Jeff and hunted in that blind. As Chase has kind of put a nice group together and invited us several times. And Will Easley, who's been on the show, he was just up there a few weeks ago hunting as well. So it's the regular blind.
Yeah.
The morning on Monday, Chance and Zach lost their life. Out of respect to TWRA and TBI, and I do ask that once they reveal and we can speak openly of the investigation results, that one thing that's crucially important, and it's important for the families of both sides of the equation to bring clarity, peace, and less rumors to a situation.
Yeah.
I challenge them to also, when they release that information, to also release clear and confirming statements to what we're going to talk about tonight, and that's what did not happen. I mean, literally, if I go into Facebook and just search Reelfoot Lake, TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and look at all the posts from news media outlets to people sharing information, it proved that there were many news outlets literally getting their information from random strangers' Facebook pages.
Yeah.
Unverified, unconfirmed. We're a podcast. We're not FM anymore. Bullshit. I can say that now. So this is going to be coming straight from the horse's mouth. There was no confrontation. There was no fighting over a duck. There was no fighting over a blind. TWRA was not involved in a shooting. There was none of that stuff took place. What did take place was heartbreaking. And that is that a gentleman who was going through something very, 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 very difficult, challenging, was not able to process what they were going through. And that resulted in the tragedy on Monday. The gentleman that is surviving this didn't even have the heart to shoot the guy in self-defense. And, that was one of the questions that came up was, how come you couldn't do it? He couldn't do it. I mean, this is an older gentleman. There's people saying that, there was a third boy. Well, the third gentleman is not a boy.
Yeah.
He is a retired gentleman and been an avid outdoorsman his entire life. In fact, he's older than my father. So there was no guide service. This was their regular blind that they're in all the time. We've hunted in that blind all season. So if you don't know what happened and you weren't there or you weren't in that group, there's no reason to speculate on social media what you think happened. Mm-hmm. Because number one, it's not fair not only is it not fair to the victims and their families, it's also not fair to the person who was issued an arrest warrant yesterday evening and their family, who is also trying to deal with this.
Right.
It's not fair to anyone to speculate. So as outdoorsmen, we talk about mental health in this show, and the whole point of this show is to promote the mental health benefits of getting outdoors. But you know what? I'm guilty of this, and I'm going to go ahead and address this situation. If we want to enjoy the outdoors, and look, let's face it, we've got a lot of people pushing against us. You know, between gun control laws and hunting regulations and public land being taken away, we have nothing but an uphill battle when it comes to the outdoors. Let's not make it easier for political figures to take away our recreational outdoor activities. So, yes, there was a tragedy. But when you go on social media and say things you don't know about and comment that they were fighting over a duck or they were fighting over the blind, guess what? They'll just take it all away. Why not?
Right.
If you can't get along, let's take it all away. And the one that did survive, do you know what his biggest worry is at this point?
What's that?
He grew up on Reelfoot Lake, hunted it for over 60 years. And the only thing he's worried about is an entire generation and legacy being worried that Reelfoot Lake isn't safe. He is tormented on so many levels from what happened and trying to get these boys to the shore with no cell phone service. He was having boat problems and trying to escape a dangerous situation. His heart is broke. He feels like he was helpless. He's doing everything he can to keep it together. And my heart goes out to him. Like I said, he's a gentleman, a true gentleman. And he even tried to help the third party that is wanted. Even tried to get them to shore. I mean, it's so messed up, and it's hit everybody right here in our own backyard. But misinformation is no better than fake news. I mean, if you're going to go on social media and comment on things you don't know about, you have no idea the perception of how you could be hurting a family member of any of those people involved. It's wrong. And if it was your child or your father or your husband that was suspected of murdering somebody and you just can't believe it, don't go and slander the families of those that lost their lives, and vice versa. Don't go slandering the family if you don't know what they were going through. With age, and look, this not too long ago in my life, there was a similar situation, and the gentleman had early onset Alzheimer's and dementia. People that get diagnoses and don't understand mental health, they are not thinking clearly. I mean, when you go, this person they were horrible. They were out to do that. And then the family goes, we don't understand how they did it. If you don't understand how dementia works, there are moments. I remember when my grandfather had dementia, by the way, so did my grandmother.
Okay.
And there were moments where he'd be fine watching TV. My grandfather was just one of the most loving gentlemen I ever knew in my life. Hands down, bar none. There were moments when he would yell, and I never heard him yell in my life. Violently yell at my aunt, wishing she was dead or wishing he was dead, and I mean just violent. They're not doing that on purpose. So we have to be mindful of our family. And I'm not saying that his family didn't take any steps or precautions or it's their fault. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that as much as the outdoors is healing and powerful for us, we have a responsibility to make sure that our loved ones are safe and responsible as well. It's no different with any health issue. If you're diabetic and you're not monitoring your blood sugar, and let's say you're diabetic, and I'm riding in a car with you,
Okay.
and you go hypoglycemic, meaning your blood sugar dropped, you can have the same symptoms as a drunk driver. You all of a
Right.
sudden can't operate that vehicle. You're a danger to you and to others. You have to know when to say, look, it's time to lock the gun up. It's time to take the car keys. And it's painful. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it.
Right.
Nobody wants to hurt the ones they love, and especially from doing the things they love, and maybe even help them. Nobody wants
Right.
to do that. But the misinformation in this situation is the worst thing that could happen. And as a society, it's not just this situation. There are so many situations in the news where people love to comment with these smart-ass opinions. Well, it must be a plot twist to this, because it can't be. It just doesn't make sense. Let me tell you something. Your comment just hurt someone's family member. My grandmother used to say, you know what an idiot with a microphone is? A louder idiot. Facebook is a microphone. This is a microphone. This show is a microphone. We want to use this show to help bring people together. Unfortunately, there's too many people in this country, Nick, that are focused on tearing us apart.
I agree.
I'm borderline speechless, even though it's my job to talk. But we offered to, when they cleared the blind. The first thing I told Matt when he called me and said, "Hey, we got to, they got to get the stuff out of the duck blind." Zach and Zach was shot in the blind, and I said, Matt, call Chase back. Chase Petty, our crappie fisherman. He's been on the show.
Right. Yeah.
I said, call him back and let him know that they don't need to go in there. I'm former military. I'm former emergency medicine firefighter. Matt's veteran. Will's veteran. We can handle this. We can go in there. It doesn't matter. We will take care of it. So I got my butt up this morning at 4 o'clock with the full intention of making sure those boys didn't have to relive anything today. And I was surprised when I got there. Reed, one of the guys that hunts with him, said, "This is we thought about it. This is something we need to do." And I get that. I respect that. I've been there before, and when it was the situation I was involved in, I felt like it was something I had to do. And I think there's that part of us that wants to own that pain. It's kind of the elephant in the room that nobody wants to admit. You want to own that pain, and my hat's off to that. Yeah, off to them, especially Reed. I just met Reed for the first time today, and not under the conditions I wanted to meet him or several of the other guys that hunt that blind.
Sure.
Throughout the year, but world-class gentlemen. I couldn't have seen a better turnout at this small boat ramp at Reelfoot Lake with these 8 boats. And I may be off by 1 or 2. We would definitely say 1 boat less because Matt couldn't get the boat started. Had a fill line problem. We took the enclosed trailers up. All the decoys, everything in the blind. We had a Blackstone griddle, stools, benches, equipment, electronics, 8 boats, 2 trips, everything out. I would call it in under 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's probably a 10, 15-minute little boat ride from the launch to the blind.
Sure.
So, like I said, the survivor of the situation that tried to get the boys to shore and was able to fend off the assailant, his heart is breaking tonight. We've had some of our past guests from the show reach out to him to express their condolences. I mean, he's hunted with these boys he's hunted with Chase's father for many, many, many years. He got Chase into duck hunting. And, these are like sons to him. He's got a son our age as well. So, imagine being out there with your hunting sons.
Right.
And feeling hopeless and helpless and trying to alleviate that situation. So, the message this evening is very plain and simple. Pay attention. We're all adults at a certain point Some of us still have growing up to do. But we have to make sure that our loved ones, before they continue that life in the outdoors, that they're safe to themselves and to others. I also encourage the Tennessee, the TWRA, TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. I encourage them to have a positive press release when this is done, and they're prepared to go over their discovery with the public. As everybody knows, the suspect that was wanted for questioning has turned into an arrest warrant. So, I mean, there would have to, just from being in law enforcement in the past, you have to have unquestionable evidence to go to that point, release the crime scene. Let's stop the rumors, and let's challenge them to also discuss what it wasn't and confirm the things that I'm saying today, as well as the families and the victims involved. To bring 3 things. Number 1 is peace and closure to the situation. Number 2 is peace and closure to the outdoor community. And the third is to help stop this. Help stop the rumor spread in all situations. As an American society, to stop this nonsense. There is nothing worse. And I'm going to take this to a whole different direction. And I'm not saying this happened in this situation. I'm not aware that it happened in this situation. But I've seen it in the past, being as a former firefighter, is when you learn of a loved one dying on Facebook. People go, there was a horrible car accident today. The name's not being released. And somebody goes, oh, that was so-and-so. I know who it was.
Right.
And their children, their maybe teenage children are on Facebook, and they see that.
Yeah.
Think before you post. I can't stress that enough. Think before you post. Social media is such a great tool, and I know we all get frustrated with it because social media can censor us or filter us or, new rules. Slap you on the wrist. You can, you shall not. Look, I get it. Nobody's 100% happy with the platforms and some of the control that they have. But social media can also be a great tool, such as how we do this show, to help get the word out and promote a positive and healthy mindset and lifestyle in the outdoors. And I got to be honest with you, Nick, this crap kills me. There was a piece of me that died today. Helping these boys, my heart breaks. I'm very empathetic when it comes to situations like this, and I feel their pain. I feel their pain. I feel the pain on the community. I feel the pain on those that love the outdoors and they've been avid duck hunters, whether they've been out once or an entire lifetime. They're all hurting. They're scared. People are looking for hope. The destructive behavior on Facebook, you are just feeding the same demon that you are already mad at. You're already giving more ammunition to the folks that are trying to destroy your way of life. So think before you speak. Because the people of Reelfoot Lake, yeah, there's been disagreements on that lake. There's been disagreements on every lake. But it's never came to this. There was no disagreement. There was no argument. There wasn't even any confrontation. This was, I would prefer, like I said, TBI or TWRA to go further in detail when they give a press conference. But there was 100% nothing but shock in what happened. It was 100% unexpected. And families are suffering. We look forward to doing a benefit as soon as possible for Zach and Chance. We've reached out to several organizations, and we've got calls out to other organizations. I've left voicemails with Higdon Outdoors and Ducks Unlimited, and Scott Graves from Special Ops Excursions was involved. He was there today, and they're right up there by Reelfoot Lake. So he responded and was able to bring some refreshments and some snacks and food for the guys and kind of help them. I mean, it was number one. It was cold, snowy, and sleet with high winds, and we were out there in that water. So, the guys were exhausted, and there's a lot of cleanup that goes into it. So, once we get the details, we'll definitely be putting that together. And obviously, Icey-Tek will be offering up coolers for that benefit raffle and some merchandise, as well as the other companies involved. I do understand that Final Flight Outfitters will be involved, as Chance worked there, I believe, in the gun department. So, this has definitely shocked the community, the Bethel University community, the outdoor community, the Reelfoot community, and all hunters across the country tonight. I can't stress it enough. We are our own worst enemies. We are by far our own worst enemies. And if we want to continue to enjoy the outdoors responsibly, sometimes tragedies happen. But if you're fueling the flames of speculation, you will give the perception that there's nothing but problems going on. And then don't be surprised when your luxuries like outdoor recreation are taken away. So, if you see somebody posting on social media anything other than what I just went over, put an end to it. Squash it. You don't have to challenge them. You don't have to argue with them. But a polite comment of, unless you can prove this fact, please consider deleting your comment in respect to the families. It's the least we can do. There's going to be people that aren't going to want to do that. That's fine. But don't perpetuate the situation. We love our outdoors. We love the guys up there. And my heart goes out with them. There's no funeral details yet that I'm aware of. My heart goes out to these guys. Not everything's all good. Sometimes there's dark moments like this, but that's life. How you process it, what you can do, is so important. And I think that, that's who we are. It's one of the reasons we do this show, and we have Nick and Matt. Obviously tonight, Nick, sorry, bud, it was supposed to be your initiation tonight. We'll push that back a week.
Okay.
But you didn't get out of it. But the reality is that tragedies do happen, and one of the reasons I love doing the show with you, as soon as something like this happens, we're the first to jump. We apologize. That's why the show was late tonight by 30 minutes, because we were literally driving the speed limit, but driving as fast as we could back from Reelfoot, so we could be here tonight to continue our show every week as promised. So we're glad to help in any way, shape, or form that we can. We ask that you keep the families in your thoughts and prayers. And as soon as we have more information, we will share those links on our page for the donation link to help with funeral expenses. And we do have some companies that have already offered products to donate for the families and for a benefit as soon as we can coordinate and get it put together. So, all things being said, we're getting more information on how to help. My understanding is that Final Flight Outfitters does have a donation, a website on their page if you want to check them out. If you want to just give a cash donation, you can do it through Final Flight Outfitters. They have a link there through one of the banks locally. But we'll have more information as it comes available to you. But again, I'm going to stress one last time, if you see misinformation out there, please ask them to consider removing their comment in respect to the families. There was no confrontation. This wasn't over a duck. This wasn't over a blind. This was a true true tragedy on everyone's end. And I hope we find a better way to confront the things that we don't want to confront, and making sure that people are making safe decisions before they leave the house. That's all we have for tonight. We're not going to be doing our traditional outro. I guess that's the proper word.
Yeah.
But we'd like to share with you a short in-memory video of Zach and Chance. So live from Icey-Tek Studios in West Tennessee, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Nick.
Good night.
Thank you.